All right, we're welcomed by our brother Wasu to discuss some of our favorite tracks from 2020. How are you doing, my brother?
Doing well. Happy Saturday, sir. Happy Saturday.
Send it Saturday.
Send it
Now,
Saturday.
now we talked about this, and we're going to pick three tracks each and one set, which
Yeah.
is actually quite difficult. And we're going to do this in back-to-back fashion. I've prepared some tracks that I think fit into your style and your preference. I think they'll complement your selections quite well. But since you are the guest of honor, I will allow you to go first.
In terms of just like maybe just come out right out of the gate with my top track of the year.
Send it, brother.
It's tough to say, but I think really the song I've just got my list in front of me up here. But I think the track that really moved me this year that I was just waiting for a release on was Tom Day and Monsoonsiren Elegiac, the Makebo remix.
Yes.
The first time I recall hearing that for the first time, right before the pandemic hit in February of last year, when I went to this party, Gorje, Hewek, and of course. They were playing at the spa in Brooklyn, and it was costumes required, like literally a spa. I think it was Brooklyn Bath and Spa. I can't remember the venue, but unfortunately, I went alone. No one was really interested in going, and I went to this party alone in a bathrobe, and that's why I heard it for the first time. And then a few weeks later, I heard it in a recorded set on SoundCloud that they did, and just the chord progression, the progression of the song, the melodies, the songwriting, just incredible. So that's probably a song that I've had on repeat the entire year. That's probably my number one.
Wow. I'm glad you brought that one up because I know and love this track, but I haven't listed it in any of my top tracks of 2020, but it still gets a lot of play for me. And it's becoming apparent to me that this may be a very Russian podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh
Oh,
man.
man. So, on that note, we got two Americans here that don't know how to finesse any languages or words. But how did you say his name? I've been calling this guy Makebo for the last year.
I'm pretty sure it's Makebo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Makebo.
Okay, we'll check that.
I would say on that note as well, he's definitely one of my favorite producers of 2020, probably in my top three.
Yes, fuck it. Let's go there. So I will respond with a Makebo track as well, Just a Dream. And this came off the Anjunadeep, maybe Summer
No,
Sampler?
All Day I Dream Summer
All
Sampler.
Day I Dream, Summer Sampler. And August 21st, this came out. Similar story. I first heard this track on a Gorje Hewek and
Yeah.
Evshesky set. Spoiler
That was
alert.
the last days of the decade mix. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, you're right. And that is my selection for set of the year.
Wow.
We'll get back to that. I probably listened to three sets this year, so I am not the right person to ask about sets.
Yeah. Okay.
But that track really hit me in that set. And then when it came out, it just, I don't know. It's beautiful. Beautiful journey. I love everything about it. It's dancey, it's dreamy. Uh, is this track in your rankings?
I wouldn't say it's like in my rankings. It's definitely a very nice tune, and it's definitely one of the more memorable tracks in that set that you mentioned. But yeah, I mean, going back to that specific record, it's so cleanly produced. The mix down is flawless. It's creative. It's unique. I think everything that he touches really is just. There's not a single song that Makebo's put out that I haven't liked.
This guy's on fire. Shout out to Russia. Shout out to Russia. So far, we got two Russian picks. So go ahead. It doesn't have to be in any particular order, but what's your next selection?
Man, there's so many. It's so hard to pick from, and thankfully I did a live stream a couple weeks ago where I did the best of 2020. So I have my iTunes in front of me as well with the playlist of all the songs that I like that were released in 2020. So it's so hard to pick from that, but yeah, I think the next one I want to bring up is Tim Green Mobara as part of the Walking the World EP on TrybesOf. Just fire. Just like a little bit more clubby, a little bit more dancey, not as floaty. Just such a killer record. Tim, again, another producer in my top 3 for 2020. Super nice guy. Love his work. Love everything that he's put out. Just incredible. That's definitely going to be in my top 3 for sure. Do you know that record?
Lovely. I do. It's one of those records that I know. It's in all of my playlists, but right now, off the top of my head, it's not coming to me. The second I hear it, I'm going to know what it is.
Yeah.
Again, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm excited to go back and revisit that track.
Yeah, when I did the stream a couple weeks ago, I played for like 3.5 hours, and that was definitely the highlight of the set.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had as an honorable mention, which I'm sure we'll have an extended mix conversation about.
Oh, yeah.
I had a Sea Parade on there. And
yeah,
we first heard that in a Gorje.
And
yeah.
When you
in your apartment.
When you were sitting right where I'm sitting right now. Yep. Right before all hell broke loose. Yep.
You were dancing around your little living room there.
Seems like a different time, man. Different time.
That's when everything was getting started.
Almost a year ago now.
Yeah. Okay, so that broke the Russian spell, and let me get us back on track and back to Russia. This next track for me is just so catchy, and I'm putting it in my top 3 for this conversation because I probably listened to this song maybe more than any other song ever since it came out. And that is the Gorje Hewek remix of Jody Wisternoff's Nightwhisper.
Nice, yep.
I have a little bit of a story about this one. Jody Wisternoff released Nightwhisper on May 1st with Anjunadeep, of course. And, with all due respect, I'm not the biggest fan necessarily of that style of music. Mm-hmm. But that's silly. If it's good, it's good. If you like it, you like it. And I loved Nightwhisper. This song is amazing, the original. Then, I have my notes here. That was on May 1st he released it.
Yeah.
On June 15th, Gorje Hewek posted a little taster on Instagram.
I remember
he was
that.
Working on some new shit. And he played it. And I heard it, and I said, wait, I know that. What is that? Oh, fuck, that's They're going to let the Russians touch up Nightwhisper? Oh, my goodness. Now, this is one of those tracks that I was waiting for. When it came out, I made sure that I was in the right space to fully receive it. I listened, and I went nuts. I put everything away. I got my GoPro and shot a 20 minutes worth of film to record something special for this track. I absolutely loved it. So for me, I'm kind of new to being hardcore about following new releases and things like that. Like, this was the first full year that I did that. And in both my first and second pick now, these were tracks that I heard originally, I had some anticipation for, and then when they came out, it was like Christmas morning. And as a music fan, this is just incredible. And to share it with other people who are following the music like that, that's all I want in life. So it's fucking lovely. Thank you, Russia, so much. So yeah, that's 2 for me, 2 for you. Yep. What's your closer?
All right, closer is I first heard this in a Volensentier mix for All Day Dream back in the fall, but it's Travertia Utro na Zemle on Forestrip. It was released on October 23rd, 2020.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know that one?
I do.
Yeah, it's the one with the hooky bass line.
Yeah.
The mid-range bass line. Yeah. Killer tune. I would say that's probably in my top 3. Travertia is just, Traversia's Dave Pad, right?
And for those listening who don't know, who's Dave Pad?
Dave Pad is one half of Volensentier. So when you listen to the releases side by side, they sound sonically almost the same.
I remember when I found out Volensentier was two people.
Yeah, it's Dave Pad and Anjay, and they actually previously, prior to 2017, when they rebranded to Volensentier, they were releasing a good amount of music with Anjunadeep. I don't know if you knew that.
I did my research once I found out who they were.
Like Freya is probably my favorite track of theirs that they did back in their Dave Padden on J days. But I've actually tried sending music to Forestrip actually, because that's probably the smallest platform that is like among my favorites. Just every release. I mean, I think they're actually having their first non-Travertia release in this month with Armin Miran. Yeah, so that guy Jay played in his, or actually Roy Rosenfeld played in his recent Lost and Found Echoes live stream set.
Wow, you're on top of it. Okay, so we're up to my closer, and I got a few to choose from here. But I'm gonna go to Lost Miracle.
Okay.
With Khen, Out of a Dream.
Khen's amazing.
Oh my God, this fucking song. I mean, it's one of those songs for me where the beginning of it, I don't know the musical terms. So I'm just speaking from some level of ignorance, but the beginning minute and a half, 2 minutes is just such a nice loop that I could flow and lock a groove to dancing before it goes anywhere. So when you have me there, it's like you would have to really fuck up the track to lose me. And then it just progresses into this whole other style, and the down, down, down. So dreamy, killer dance track, sharp sounds. Shout out to Khen. Fucking love this guy. His music's incredible, and that's my one non-Russian pick of the day. You know this tune?
I definitely heard it. I listened to that EP for sure, but I remember loving it, but I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But I do know the EP. Yeah, I mean Khen is an amazing producer, so no surprises there.
Question. So the name of that EP is like, I don't even know if it's in English, but it's like Magano or something like that. It's something with an M. And there's 2 tracks on the EP. One is Magano, and the other is Out of a Dream. As a fan, I assume that the track that is not the name of the EP is the B-side record.
That's correct. Yeah, that's
Man,
correct.
I usually like the B-sides more.
It depends. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it's all kind of subjective at the end of the day. But yeah, sometimes I like the A side more. Sometimes I like the B side more.
Of course.
But I think in my experience, it's usually it's kind of collaborative. But I think for the most part, the label usually makes the pick of what they think the A side is.
Okay.
But I don't think they're going to do that without getting your thoughts. It's usually in my experience, it's been like collaborative. Like, hey, what do you think? Like, what do you think? You know, I usually kind of leave it up to because I like getting an outsider's perspective on my own music.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of usually like just leave it to the label, and I think, you know, hey, like, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is the A?
Well, speaking about your perspective and your experience, you released quite a bit of music in 2020. What is your personal favorite production of your own?
Yeah, 2020. My favorite thing that I put out it has to be Escape, because I just remember, like, you know, it was actually an insanely quick turnaround. I started it early June, late May, or like maybe like the last day of May, first week of June. And if you recall, that was when all the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests were going on, and like obviously we were in the heart of the pandemic. We still are, and I just remember just being really, really upset, and it just felt like anarchy, you know, like what was going outside. And the other thing is too is like, you know, I'm at home with my parents in Richmond, Virginia, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, like 35 minutes west of the city of downtown. So, you know, it was kind of almost like I was witnessing this happen from home, you know, and just seeing all this sadness and all this hate and division in the entire country. And I literally took that emotion, and when you have the opportunity to translate your emotions into music, that's when I find that the best records come about. And I remember just finishing the first sketch of it and just being like, yeah, this is something really, really special. And I sent it over to the family over at When We Dip, and Guthrie, who runs both XYZ and Tales of Romance over there, instantly fell in love with the record and put it out as part of his first various artists compilation for Tales of Romance. And yeah, it's still one of those records to this day that strikes me in the emotions, and just one that like always brings me back to that moment of when I was just really sad and really heartbroken of what was going on outside. And I just felt like I needed to escape musically, hence the name.
Well, I remember listening to Escape, but now I'm going to return, having a little more perspective on your experience and give it a fresh listen. I'm excited. What is your set of the year?
Set of the year is, I think, I'm going to totally butcher the pronunciation of this, but the Akri Vetra set by Gorje, Hewek, and Ashevsky, their Ruvenzori kickoff set in March of, when you and I listened to it in this exact apartment where I'm sitting right now, March of 2020. So that's probably my set of the year, just start to finish. Just there's some tunes in there that are still not out yet, and of course my song of the year. That's how I knew it was my song of the year, when I kept going back to that set and replaying it at the 30-minute mark. The 30-minute mark. I remember the timestamp in the set where that song comes in. So,
Man, it's the Russia show, because as I mentioned earlier, my set of the year is Gorje, Hewek, and Ashevsky. First Days of a Decade, Gardens of Babylon. Shout out to Gardens of Babylon family.
Literally a year ago, like today or like this week is when that set came out.
Yeah, it's exactly a year ago, and I was in Mexico City at the time, but this set just blew my mind, and some of my favorite tracks of the year are in that set, and I don't listen to sets, so I'm not the right person to ask about that, but that's a goddamn good set, so if you're not familiar with it, definitely check it out. I'll be posting links to all the shit that we've discussed here. Before we get out of here, there was one track in particular that is in my set that we both had selected potentially in our top 3, but we didn't want to step on each other. And that is About River, Silver Dusk, Volan Sentir retouch. I mean, god damn it, Doris, what a tune it is. What a tune it is.
That's in that set too, right? Yeah, it is.
It is. It's the second to last song. And do you know the record label that's with?
Yeah, Nie Wieder Schlafen, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you could pronounce it. You did pretty good there, I think.
I don't know. I know of the label owner, Steppy. So if Steppy's watching this and I totally butchered it, I apologize, Steppy. Please correct me.
It's a great label, and I have no idea how to say it, but I'm going to go with Nie Wieder Schlafen. I hope everyone's having a good laugh out there. The other label that I do this with all the time is the Ben Bomer crew with Top Ton Ferrari. Holy shit, I have no idea. But they released a track yesterday that's fucking nice. Really nice. You should listen to it. I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head right now, but it's a great tune. I'll write it as a text here. So before we get out of here, what do you got coming up? Any new releases on your end that you're excited about?
Oh yeah, there's quite a few. So yeah, I released Magenta yesterday on the 8th of January with my friend and next door neighbor David Orn. I've got a 2-track EP on Silk in February. I've got another EP in February that I can't reveal too much details about yet, but probably the release that I'm most excited about in my career. And I've got potentially a remix in March, an EP in April, an EP potentially in May and June, and then another EP later in the summer. So my 2021 is looking pretty fleshed out already. It's gonna be a busy year of music for sure.
Well, that's damn good to hear. Let me know when this February mystery release, when you can reveal some more information about it. I'll be waiting for it.
Yeah. I'm definitely eager to share some news about it, but we can't just yet. Super excited about it though.
I respect that, and I respect your music taste, and I love you, man.
Seems like we see eye to eye on this stuff.
I don't speak Russian, but I listen to it.
Oh man. Yeah, if anyone here is watching this, I do not know somebody who is as dedicated to listening to music as Lee. So definitely give his Spotify playlist a follow. He updates it. You update it what, every single Friday?
I mean, so I'm updating every Friday is my Beat Portify
Yes, that's it.
playlist.
That's the one. Yeah.
I can't vouch for any of those tracks other than the fact that it's an artist or a label that I have some interest in, but that's the big boy archive.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be restructuring my playlist soon, but I'm updating that shit pretty much every day, every time I find some new tracks. But
Yeah.
man, thank you. I thought you were going to talk about someone else. I didn't think you were going to say that about me, but I do listen to a lot of music.
Lee is a good way of how I discover new music.
Wow. That's a damn good compliment, brother.
I'm sure other people will say the same, man.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start doing this with more producers and DJs and make this maybe a reoccurring series where I want to hear what the artists are listening to. And I love this idea of artists supporting artists. Like, look, sure, we want to highlight you and um, want to know what you have coming up in the pipeline and what you're proud of. But I also want to know what you're listening to and what gets you excited and what other artists inspire you. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, I still see myself as like just a consumer, like a music listener. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really change. Like I still listen, like when I go on runs and stuff, I still listen to sets. I still listen to like my favorite songs and stuff. You know what I mean?
Fans first, brother. Fans first.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly.
Only fans. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we'll be on here soon, chatting again.
Yeah, we got to do it soon, man. We don't do it enough.
Absolutely. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Take care, man.
All right.
See ya.